Hello guys, my name is Thomas JR and today I represent you my legendary Fisherman deck profile. Well, all started when, Mako Tsunami summoned the legendary Fisherman, and so after many years the Konami decided to give some support to this archetype and make it a full, complete deck. So without further ado, let's begin. First we play the boss monster of the deck in 3 copies, the legendary Fisherman level 3. Well, Legendary Fisherman is required to special summon himself from the hand by tributing one Legendary Fisherman monster that you have in the field. When this card is special summoned, you can banish all monsters your opponent controls, and also this card cannot attack this turn. And also cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and it's unaffected by spell and trap effects. Once per turn, you can return as many of your opponent's banished cards to the graveyard, and if you do, the first battle damage or effect that you are making to the opponent becomes double. So it's very crucial to OTK and also banish the entire monsters your opponent controls without any protection. It's very neat to make the deck functions. Next we play 3 Citadel Whale. This was a original monster and now it's an effect monster that its effects reads as follows. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can tribute 2 other monsters special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Citadel Whale once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can set one Sea Stealth attack, which is the trap of the deck, directly from your deck and set it only at the field. So, once per turn, an additional effect that this card has is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets one wanted monster you control and no other cards. Quick effect, you can negate the activation and destroy that card. A very quick negation, very good card to have. 3 copies because we need to see it as soon as possible, but it's not the win condition, but it's very good to have a protection. Next we play the Legendary Fisherman level 2. This card's name becomes the Legendary Fisherman when it hits the field or in the graveyard. And while you have Yumi on the field, this card is unaffected by monster effects. So additionally, it has a protection plus its stats, which is 500 attack, which is very neat to have. If this face-up card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while its owner controls it, you can add one level 7 or level 7 water monster directly from your deck to your hand, so you can add Citadel Whale or the Legendary Fisherman because they are level 7. Next we play the one and only the Legendary Fisherman, the card that started it all, and it's very good to have. While you have Yumi on the field, this card is unaffected by spell effects and cannot be targeted for attacks, but the opponent can attack you directly, so most of the time we summon him and tribute him for Legendary Fisherman level 3 to push for game. Next we play, for the monsters, 3 Warriors of Atlantis. So you can discard this card that are the Legendary Ocean to your hand. And Legendary Ocean is the Yumi card, which copies the Yumi effect name, so you will have in this build, and that's the whole effect. Also it has very nice stats. Next we play 1 Tribe Infecting Virus, so you can discard 1 card and declare one type of monster that you want, and destroy all face-up monsters with a declared type. Very good nuke, and also goes level 3 with Yumi, and the stats will provide additional support. Next we play 2 Kodarus. Kodarus is a monster that you send 1 face-up Yumi you control to the graveyard to select up to 2 cards your opponent controls and send them to the graveyard. It's up to 2 non-targeting, which is perfect, and also 2 non-target. It's the need, I think, in this era because we have a lot of protection in monsters. And last but not least, we play Barrier Statue of the Torrent. So you know the deal. If you control the Barrier Statue of the Torrent, that means no monsters can be special summoned except water monsters, which is not affecting us, but the opponent certainly does, because water decks are now very few and most players don't play them. Next we play, for the spell lineup, 1 Terraforming to search our field spell Legendary Ocean, accompanied by 3 Fury of Karyushin, to add 1 Torrential Tribute to nuke the entire board, and if we control water monsters, to protect them by banishing this card from the graveyard instead. And also it's very neat to have, but it's only once per turn, so that's why we play 3 Most of the instances we prefer to play 2, but 3 it's the most perfect for this specific build. Next we play 2 Feast of the Wild level 5. To special summon 2 level 5 warriors to go to Exist plays, or to go to Link plays, or to have them on the field to tribute for our legendary Fisherman level 3 to finish the game. Next we play 1 Monster Reborn, very generic, very good card to have, accompanied by 2 creature swaps to steal the opponent's monsters in case we don't have something very good in the deck. And also a very nice combo that you can do, it's special summon legendary Fisherman level 3, and if they control a monster that is unaffected by anything, you can creature swap the legendary Fisherman with the other monster, but first proc the effects of a legendary Fisherman level 3, so you will do double the damage and potentially do a very high damage output to the opponent. Next we play 1 Fury of Kairishin, Rage of Kairishin, sorry. So if you control a Yumi on the field, the legendary Ocean I mean, and you can target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters you control, which original level are 5 or higher, and destroy them. And if you do, those zones cannot be used until the end of the next turn. Very generic, very good nuking, because in case they have a monster in the extra monster zone, because there is where the link monsters goes, you can block them from using the extra monster zone, and it's very good to have in that regard. And next, we play the best spell in the entire deck, that it's a legendary Ocean. You need it as fast as possible for your entire deck to work, and also it reads as follows: all water monsters you control gain 200 attack, so it's better, and also reduces the level of all water monsters in one player's hands and on the field by 1. So that means you can normal summon legendary Fisherman and not tributing him by any means, so it's very neat to have. And also the stat line is better than, it protects the monsters a little bit. We play 2 Torrential Tribute for the trap lineup, accompanied by, Torrential Tribute effect. It's very old, and the effect reads as follows: when a monster is special summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. That's the effect. It's a pseudo dark hole, but it's better because it's the opponent's turn and it's much more devastating in that regard. Next we play 2 Paleozoic Deinamiscus. Deinamiscus is a card that you can target 1 face-up card on the field, discard 1 card, and if you do that, banish it. Again, this card is targeting, but it's very neat because if we activate Trap later on the game, you can spell summon this card as a normal water monster, and it's very good. And also if this card is summoned by that way, it's unaffected by monster effects, and it also bans itself when it leaves the field. And the last trap we play is 3 Sea Stealth attacks, because when this card is activated, you can activate 1 Yumi from your hand or graveyard, so it's replacing itself. That's very neat. And also while Yumi is on the field and is face up, it gains these effects. Once per turn, you can banish 1 water monster you control until the end phase, and this turn face up spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, even if these cards leave the field, so it's very neat to have. And also, it has a second effect that at the start of the damage step, if a water monster whose original level is 5 or higher battles an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster. So it's very neat to have, and also goes for big plays, so you can attack, send that monster to the graveyard, and since it's left the field by this effect, you can attack once more to push for the game. And now for the extra the extra deck lineup, it's 1 Drill Driver Vesperado. I won't explain it again because I say it too many times, but it's very good to have. Accompanied by 1 Bahamut Shark to bring out our totally awesomes. 1 number 103 Ragnar Zero, because if the opponent has something that changes the attack of a monster, you can during either player's turn, detach 1 exist material from this card, then target 1 face-up attack position monster your opponent controls, and if you do, destroy that and draw 1 card, accompanied by 1 Evil Giski Merrowgeist, because after damage calculation, if this card destroys an opponent monster by battle, you can attach 1 material to shuffle that destroyed monster back into the deck instead of sending it to the graveyard, so potentially to make them dead draw it or anything like that. We play 101 Silent on Arc to steal a monster and have an additional board present, because it cannot die at least once. One Abyss Dweller, because we prefer them not to use a graveyard, because it's very devastating in this era. We play one Shark Caesar, because it gains a lot of attacks and it's a very high beefy monster, but most of the time we prefer to play level 3, because we play level 3 Xyz monsters, because we are using Yumi, so it's very good with the Legendary Ocean, accompanied by one Totally Awesome to steal our opponent's cards and negates one of their effects. We play one Nightmare Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus for our Nightmare monsters of choosing and preference. They are better, I think, than all of the others. And we play one Area, because we play a full water deck, and two Mistar Boys for the same reasons, to boost our attack monsters and steal opponent monsters that have the watermark, and also one Bardigate's Ball Blocker, because we can add back our field spell and push for the game. So that's the deck profile. See you again, guys, next time. Bye bye!